Hello, everyone. Well, to the Criterion Connection, I'm Wade.
And I'm Joe.
And this is the first episode of 2024 of the Criterion Connection. And we're doing a new release. It's not really a new release in the world, but it's a new release for the Criterion Collection. And that's Trainspotting from 1996. Danny Boyle directed it, based on the novel by Irvin Welsh, starring Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor. And it's very Scottish, very UK, very, yeah.
Heavily Scottish.
You've seen this movie before?
Yes.
I have never seen this movie in my life. I've heard about it. I told my fiance, "Oh, the movie this week is Trainspotting," and she got so excited, so we watched it together. And I'll say, thank God I had subtitles, because it's very, 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 very heavy accent.
Very Scottish.
Yeah. It's basically about Michael Renton, played by Ewan McGregor, and his friends. I like to call I made a joke, this is the Scottish SLC Punk.
Fair.
Where it's like these guys going through their lives, and it's like there's the monologue with it about how, like, Renton's not really about being a poser, but he's about being, like, into heroin and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is very, him and his friend are six friends. He has a couple friends. Sick Boy. Spud. I love Spud.
Spud.
Tommy.
Ewan Bremner. By the way.
Yeah, Tommy, who is not into drugs. And Brigsby. I think his name is Brigsby. He was the guy with the mustache, and he likes to fight. He likes to fight people. And it's about that and their world, and basically Renton trying to find his place. The first 20 minutes is very about getting high on heroin.
Yeah. Yes.
And going into the worst toilet in Scotland, which is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. There's a lot of feces in this movie.
Yeah.
Not like gratuitous, but more in a comedic matter of feces, of just like, oh God, really, dude, really. And it's just the misadventures.
Well, it's very much like a turning point kind of in the life of Michael or Renton. And it's very much like it establishes like where they're at, and then him realizing like this may not be the best aimless direction to be going.
No.
And then kind of confronting that decision and wondering if subsequent decisions are irreversible.
Yeah, and it's also like he's kind of weighing out his mates.
Yeah.
His mates, Sick Boy, particularly Sick Boy and Brigsby, mostly them. There's some great fun little bits with this. There's the videotape incident with Tommy and his girlfriend, where it's definitely a sex tape with them. And Ewan McGregor is like, "Hey, can I borrow this?" And it's like the best goals, so like football goals. And he just switched the tapes. And then it's like the whole thing where Tommy loses his girlfriend because of this, because like, oh, let's put on one of our tapes and get in the mood. And it's just like people hitting like field goals, because him and Sick Boy, his Renton and Sick Boy, decided we're just gonna watch this video, just like hanging on the couch watching their friend have sex with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And there's also the point where Renton is like going cold turkey on heroin. His parents lock him in his bedroom,
dealing with withdrawal symptoms.
Oh, and that's wild. That whole thing is wild, of like just cinematography and just ideas. Like all these characters are going in and out, and also the baby on the ceiling.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
There is a
sequence.
There is a trigger warning. Spoiler
with the baby.
Yes, the baby is definitely dies. And they find it pretty like been dead for days in a crib.
Yeah,
and it's really haunting. It really turns the corner of the movie.
Yeah,
but then it turns back into like kind of like this weird kind of black comedy kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like, oh crap.
It's very much playing into that, like, because this group of friends, they were all addicts except for
Tommy. But he later maybe he gets involved. Who
Yeah.
knows? I won't.
So they're all addicts, and what ends up happening is it's one of those moments where they have to confront, like, this isn't just fun and games anymore. Like, there's things at stake, and
People's lives.
And it shows off, like, kind of the negligence and selfishness of the situation, and it very much is one of those, like, oh shit moments.
Yeah, it's very like, oh, and then they do the shoplifting part, and that has consequences on both Spud and Renton.
Yep.
And eventually, I like how Renton's just like, he moves on with his life. The second half is just he moves on with his life, but these friends just show up and they're just like, I'm just staying here. And then Renton's like, I don't like any of you people. He's really outgrown these people.
Well, and that's the other thing is, like, it's one of the things you can talk about is, like, when a group like that's together, are you actually friends, or are you having just shared interests and shared experiences? And when you move on from that, like, is that bond still there?
That's very, like, if you're in your 20s, you have friends in your early 20s and late teens, they just kind of stop talking to, and just kind of like everyone goes their different paths. Renton's definitely trying to get out of that path, and Spud kind of does too. But Sick Boy is not the greatest, and also Brigsby is just definitely a psychopath. There is also, do they use the same lounge from Clockwork Orange?
It looks
the
like
Veloco
it. Yeah, it
lounge.
looks like it. I don't think I ever really found that out.
Yeah, because it's definitely that has the writing on the walls when they're all sitting there drinking milk. Obviously, it doesn't have the mannequins, but it definitely looks like it. There's also a lot of Bond talk. They like talking about James Bond, and they like talking about Iggy Pop, or as I think it was Diane says, Ziggy Pop. Isn't he dead? No, he's not dead. But it's fun.
It's one of those movies that you get a range of emotions, because it's funny, it's
harrowing,
it's gross sometimes, it's
the sheets.
It's darkly comedic. It has those incredibly I guess triggering moments, like with the child. And
then when they do the withdrawal scene.
The withdrawal.
The baby is played for laughs.
Yeah,
because the baby's face is all like.
Yeah, it kind of hits on all of these things. There's your redemption arc. There's the people dragging back down.
Yeah,
it really is kind of a range of things, and I think what's great is it's very unapologetic too. It's just like,
Renton's not the greatest.
Yeah,
even at the end, he's not really the greatest.
All the characters have their good moments and their bad moments, and it's just people existing in this kind of microcosm of everything.
Also, I forgot one scene that is great cinematography. Is when Renton takes the heroin and, like, he falls back into like the carpet, and the carpet, like, he goes through the ground.
Yeah.
And, like, throughout the whole time, like, when everyone's dealing with him, like, basically comatose, like, it's like he's still in that little, like, abyss. And I think that's really a really cool, great soundtrack.
Yep.
Great soundtrack.
The soundtrack is typically the first thing people think about when it comes to Trainspotting. It's very much the first thing that comes to people's mind, because there's a lot. It's just like great song.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of deals. It probably, the soundtrack might have outsold the DVD.
Oh, probably. I mean, it's definitely one of those movies I could definitely see soundtrack. It's like how a couple months ago we did Lost Highway. That soundtrack, you can just tell with a movie where, like, the needle drops are just so freaking good.
Yeah.
But I guess, Joe, also before we gotta talk about, like, Ewan McGregor, his greatness.
He's one of the great parts of this.
Yeah.
It's very much one of those, like, you don't see him as Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, no.
You see him as Renton, and then you have Ewan Bremner, who's also great. And I wish I remember all the other actors' names, but those two are real standouts in the film.
Yeah. And they're also probably the most sympathetic characters in the movie.
Yeah.
So, Joe, would you recommend this film to the general audience?
Yeah. I think people should realize about the trigger warnings. That it's heavy movie on addiction and involves a death of a child, a baby. But I think the movie itself is incredibly worth watching, and there's a reason why people know it. The soundtrack's great, and I mean, even every now and then you'll even see it on cable, which is wild.
Yeah, and this movie is definitely, I'm surprised it's on actual cable TV. I would also recommend it. It's super fun. I'd even probably buy the Criterion edition version.
Yeah.
Because I liked it so much. It's definitely a movie I could definitely put on. Surprisingly, I could put it on the background and just have on and I can pick it up anywhere I go. I've not seen Trainspotting 2. Neither of you, aren't they?
No, that only came out 7 years ago. Okay.
That was 7 years ago. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'll probably check it out. It's probably not gonna be as iconic or as big as this, but I'll check it out. I'm just curious. Let me guess, they're in their 40s and they relapse.
I don't know.
I don't know. But
I remember being interested and just never following through to watch it.
Yeah, of course, definitely check out the Criterion version that just released. I watched it on Paramount Plus.
I own the DVD.
Yeah, so and you also can rent it on Apple and stuff like that. So you can watch it anywhere. It's pretty accessible.
Yeah.
So go check it out. That's 2 votes from us. So that's our thoughts on Trainspotting. Let us know in the comment section below what you think. What's your favorite character that's not Renton? Do you like Sick Boy? Do you like Tommy? Do you like the Mother Superior, which was the kind of the heroin den mother, which was just some guy?
I'm always partial to Spud.
Spud's a great character.
Great.
But let us know. Make suggestions, because this is a new year, which means more suggestions from you guys will help us out. We have a lot of open slots on our calendar of planned movies to do. So please do that. Like, subscribe, share. Definitely subscribe and share it to people, because I mentioned this on the last Criterion. 2024 is the 10-year anniversary of Condish Productions. The podcast came out in 2014, so here we are. So please, for this big year, let's push that subscribe and everyone watching and all that. So until next time, I'm Wade.
And I'm still Joe.
And we will see you later.